Hey peeps, we are back. We are talking The Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 13, episode 14. Next week, I believe, is the season finale that we have been hearing so much about and waiting for, and I am definitely looking forward to seeing it. Hey, before we get into the video, please do me the honors of subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification bell so you can always be notified when I post new content, hitting the thumbs up because that does wonders for my channel, and share. Thanks. So before we get into the show, I just wanted you guys to take a listen.
They live together, they would want to be married to live together.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I don't have to do things
And you don't
like
have to get married, exactly. Like whatever you want, whatever you guys want.
Right,
You just
like-
beat at your own drum.
As far as I know, Paulie's not divorced. I mean, I guess it's hard to get married if you're not divorced. Yeah, you could give rings. I guess that's why you can't get married if you're not divorced.
Now, honey, listen. For the last 2 seasons, these housewives have been saying that Marge has an arsenal, that Marge holds on to people's information, and she has been crying and complaining, screaming and hollering that they are demeaning her character, damaging her reputation. She is a good friend. She doesn't do things like that. So clearly Marge seems desperate to me and thirsty for attention and desperate to stay on that show. Coming out publicly, and did you guys notice a little smirk on her face when she said that Paul was still married and I guess you can give rings out, but you're married? I really do hope that Dolores realizes who her real friends are and who her real friends aren't. I hope that she realizes that she needs to treat Marge accordingly. You know, I need the Patterson Dolores to handle Marge next season. This lady is ridiculous. Why did you need to come out and tell everybody that Paulie is still married and that's why he's not marrying Dolores? Paulie did come out and admit that yes, he is still married. Him and his wife have been separated for a while. It's very clear that he is completely separated. He's got his own place and Dolores lives there. Also, people who live in glass houses should not throw stones. You and your gossip hound husband, Joe, ruined not one family but 2. Both of you were supposedly happily married when you decided to have this affair and tear up 2 perfectly good families. You don't have any business coming out here telling Dolores's business. If Dolores wanted all of us to know that Paulie was still married, I'm pretty sure she would have used that as part of her storyline. I am still sitting here we are on episode 14, trying to find out what the hell is Marge's storyline. All season, all Marge has done is talk shit about Jennifer, Teresa, and Danielle. Jennifer, Teresa, and Danielle. We don't know anything else about Marge. Listen, you guys already know I am tired of Marge. I am through with Marge. I did see somewhere where she was doing an interview and she was saying that she was upset with Laura because Laura was coming after her job, coming after her livelihood, trying to get her to lose her job by telling all this information to the bloggers and talking to all the girls, and how she sent a group text to all of their Tanafly friends to let them know that Laura was spreading gossip. In other words, she was trying to get all the Tanafly people to stop dealing with Laura and just take her side. Then she says that she sent text messages to Laura and her husband, calling her out, saying that she was telling lies and spreading rumors, and that Laura blocked her. You know, Marge, I don't give a damn. You are the queen of spreading lies and rumors. You are the queen of gossip, and you are perfectly fine when it's not you. You are perfectly happy to tell everybody else's business as long as it is not you. You don't give a damn. But as soon as somebody says something about you or puts anything out there about you, all of a sudden they're liars, they're hypocrites, they're putting you down, they're idiots, they're assholes. That's what she usually does. Marge, I'm sick of you, and I really do kind of hope that they demote you to friend of, or they just get rid of you altogether. Or maybe they'll bring Danielle back, or maybe they'll bring back one of the Kims and let them take Marge down. I really would love to see a Marge takedown season. I'm just saying. Anyway, Page 6 had posted a thing about Victoria Wakili, daughter of Kathy Wakili. I guess she's recently gotten married, and they posted that Victoria Wakili, the daughter of former Real Housewives of New Jersey star Kathy Wakili, got hitched, and notably her cousins Joe and Melissa Gorga were not in attendance. Honey, listen, Joseph Wakili, the brother, he posted a comment that says, "Laugh my ass off. We cut those farm animals out of our lives years ago. That's why they weren't in attendance." Okay, now listen. I am pretty sure when he says they cut those farm animals out of their lives, they were also talking about Teresa. Because, I still think that the way that whole situation played out, I think that the Wahilis got treated pretty bad. I can't for the life of me remember all the ins and outs of the situation, but I do think the Wahilis were treated, or Wakilis, I believe. I'm probably saying it wrong. Anyway, I think that they got mistreated. I'm just saying. Anyway, we're just going to get on to the show, because I can tell you this episode was kind of boring, but it had some moments. So listen, we get a chance to meet Jen Fessler's mom and her twin sister, and they are Marilyn and Carolyn, I think. Anyway, they still dress alike. They may have gotten older in age, but they are still young at heart. I personally think that they're adorable. I enjoyed Marilyn and Carolyn. Of course, Jen Fessler loves to name drop. She loves to let everybody know that she knew somebody famous, or was by somebody famous, or had the sex with somebody famous. Anyway, she wanted us to know that the twins' best friend back in the day was Barbra Streisand, and they used to play the piano while Barbra sang. Okay? Anyway, we also see just how adorable they are. Their family is super close, and I appreciated that. Where the love and happiness stopped was when one of the sisters said, "On you guys' trip, did you have any bitches on the trip?" or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And Marge said, "Well, we had an asshole." And then she goes in to talk mad crap about Danielle. I would just like to say, if there was any a-hole on that trip, it was Marge. Marge is a very immature woman. Her behavior is absolutely deplorable at all times. She causes a major scene everywhere she goes. It's always screaming and yelling, and then she always likes to judge the next housewife for screaming and yelling. They're doing the same stuff that you were doing, Marge. Cut it. And I would just like to say, whenever you see Marge in any of her scenes with her family, with a couple of the girls, it's always about Teresa, Jennifer, and Danielle. And she's always bashing them. She's not saying anything good about them. However, she gets upset with them when they say that she's bashing them all the time. When they say that she's being nosy as hell, she's got an attitude about it. Girl, we know you for your works. This makes no sense. Oh my gosh, she's talking bad about me. She's talking facts about you. Should she be bringing up some stuff that she heard second and third hand? Probably not, but it's not like it's not true. What Marge should have said is, we went on this trip, had a whole lot of disagreements, whole lot of yelling and complaining, and I bullied the shit out of Danielle. That's what she should have said. Margaret also made some kind of comment about Danielle sharing her life, making things about her. I said, well, at least she's sharing her life. At least she's talking about her life. It's more than what you're given this season, that's for sure. And I really think that Jen Fessler, who's new to the group, she should really be quiet. Why do you have so many comments? Why are you so involved in Teresa and Melissa and Joe and Louie? You really were not here for all the inner workings. And I haven't seen them do a whole lot of talking about it to you. You and Marge should really just stay out of this. And even though this whole big thing is going on, nothing stopped Marge from going to that wedding, because she wanted to take her clout chasing ass to that wedding to get photos taken and say she was there. Marge is the one who shouldn't have been invited. So we see Paulie, Dolores, the two kids, and Frank and his girlfriend Brittany go out. We find out that Paulie has two sons. One's 24 and the other one is 17. Paulie to me just seems like a really nice guy. I would like for him to be a really nice divorced guy, but until his divorce is finalized, I like him. I think him and Dolores are doing really well. I don't think she wanted anybody to think of her as a homewrecker or put the scarlet letter on her or anything. But now that Marge has put it out there, I still like Dolores and I still like Paulie and I still want the best for her. And I'm hoping that he'll get a divorce really quick and make, an honest woman out of Dolores. I did think it was a little weird when Frank's girlfriend asked Paulie if he knew English before he came here from Ireland. I said, well, what? And then she said, well, I'm an old soul. Well, what does that have to do with you not knowing that people in Ireland speak English? I mean, woman. Anyway, they had a pretty good time. Paulie told them that he was going to have an Irish type prohibition party for everybody. He wanted everybody to come, have a good time, enjoy themselves, including Frank. Frank seemed to be trying his best to be on his best behavior to get along with Paulie. And at one point he says, do you know what kind of ring Dolores likes? And Paulie says he's already got it. Now, I don't know if this man really has it or not, but I do appreciate that he's at least thinking about Mary and Dolores. I hope he's thinking even harder about hurrying up and getting this divorce. But I'm glad that he's at least thinking about it. And I think that shut Frank up a little bit. They did talk a little bit about Frank maybe possibly marrying Brittany, but in my opinion, Frank's not marrying Brittany. I don't even think that Frank truly respects that girl. I really don't, because remember, he didn't even want her coming to the dinner. I don't see a long future for Frank and Brittany, in my opinion. Now, Louie and Teresa talking about the wedding and talking about should he have a dance with his mother. Listen, I think he should have a groom and mother dance. I think it's always beautiful to see both the bride and the groom dance with their parents. I do realize that Teresa's parents are gone and her and Joe are having, some issues right now. But I think Louie should give his mom a dance. However, I do know that this is not the first wedding for either one of them, so it's not absolutely mandatory. But I think, as a boy mom, I'd like to have that dance with my son. I'm just saying. Anyway, so with the whole Louie's conversation with Teresa at the table, I know that Teresa and Louie have gone through some stuff. I really do. I know that Joe has been really hard to deal with from time to time. He likes to turn into a tiny hawk. I realize that. But what I need to say is that, okay, before I get into that, let me just say this. I had a subscriber who is now an ex-subscriber try to talk shit to me in my comments last video because he said that I was more of a Teresa fan than Melissa and I wasn't being fair to Melissa. He was just doing too damn much, so I said goodbye and he's blocked and go on about your business. Okay, so listen, here's the deal, peeps. You guys know I am not a journalist. I am just a YouTuber who has her own opinion. And I want you guys to have your opinion. I want every last one of you to feel comfortable enough to get down in the comments and let me know how you feel and why you feel that way. And it's all good as long as it's respectful. This person was disrespectful to me. Anyway, by me not being a journalist, I don't have to be unbiased. I'm allowed to like one person more than I like the other. I'm just giving you my opinion and my thoughts on it. Just because it's my opinion and my thoughts does not mean that it's right. It just means that it's my opinion and my thoughts. I really love getting in the comments and seeing some of the peeps say, I see what you're saying, but I look at it this way. And there has been a lot of times that I have read some of your comments and it has changed my mind on some of my thoughts on certain situations. So I want all of us to know that we don't all have to agree. It's okay. You can say whatever you want to say in the comments to me, to each other. Just please say it in a respectful manner. You guys never have to agree with me. It's okay. Sometimes my opinions are way out there anyway. So, feel free to tell me that, girl, you crazy right now. That's not it. You know what I mean? Just don't do it in a mean way. Anyway, what I was saying was, I don't think that Teresa and Louie should sit there and act as if they're victims. You know what I mean? They're not the sole victim in all of this. Teresa has had her hand in a lot of BS as well. Louie is a part of this. All four of them are not innocent. They really aren't. All four of them have done their share in tearing this relationship up. And if you want to add Joe Giudice, you can add him to the group too. All five of them have done a really good job of tearing this family apart. So none of them are the victims. The victims in all of this are the children. The children are now pretty much being put in the middle, and some of them are starting to pull off, away from their aunts and uncles, and it's not okay. These grown people should be able to come together, hash this out, and move forward in a positive light. Soon, at some point, they will have grandchildren. Do you want to bring them into this mess? Teresa is Joe's only sibling. They really do need to buck up and try to pull it together. And with Teresa being the older sibling, and I'm the older sibling in my family, I think it falls on the older sibling to try to pull them back together. You don't have to always agree, but you can try to get along. You can try to compromise. You can try to open your mind to understand where each person is coming from. Right now, to me, it just seems as if everything is based on popularity, social media, being a part of the show, who's the most famous, who's the richest, who's right, instead of trying to figure out what was each one of your parts in tearing this family up, and how can we correct those issues? How can we show our children that we are able to come together as a family and fix the situation that's going on? I appreciate that Teresa is having therapy. Maybe she should try to see if they could have group therapy. You guys have got to pull it together. And at this point, I do agree with one thing. Either you guys need to try to make it work or totally separate. Maybe a total separation for a few months, maybe even a year, will get you guys to a place where you can then feel, let's come back to the table and pull this together. One thing I think that they should definitely be thinking about: how in the world would their parents feel if they knew this was going on? I think that Nono and her mother would be devastated to find out that their children are separated like this.
Is there a nasty bitch in the group?
There's an immature asshole.
What's her name?
Her name is Danielle. She was just, every time Melissa and Teresa talk about their issues, oh my God, this reminds me of my problems. And start crying, like back to her. Everything was like a drama. And I was trying to coddle her a little bit, but this girl attacked me.
I know that.
When you came here, did you not know any English or you knew some English?
Hey,
What?
he speaks Irish.
No, I'm... What? Over there, you speak English.
Over there, we all speak English.
Guys, I'm an old soul. Come on.
She tell you what kind of ring she wants? I already have it. You already have it.
So I text Melissa. Here we go again.
So Jessica Louie's assistant texted you about the rehearsal dinner. Are you guys able to attend? Hi, no, we cannot. We are only around on the wedding day.
But like, first of all, you know there's gonna be a rehearsal the night before a wedding.
There's no effort. No one's trying. It's always blame. It's blame. It's blame. And it's always your fault.
And then Joe told you. And then Joe made it a point to call Louie.
Literally, when he said to me, do not let Joe Gorga interfere in your life, because he's going to try to do that. He's going to feel intimidated. He's insecure.
The only time Joe and I used to fight was because of my brother.
You know what it's like for me to be calm in the last 3 months around an animal like that?
No, I know.
But I'm not going to lower myself to f***ing trash that does that. I'm sorry.
I kept grabbing for my brother, grabbing, and always would take the punch me. But now it's like, I'm done.
I mean, listen, it breaks my heart. I am your mother, I'm his mother. I raised you as the best I can with lots of love. Obviously, he's in some type of pain. But talk to me about it, and I'll respectfully apologize to you if I did anything to hurt you.
He iced her out big time once he realized she was taking my side.
But you know what makes me so sad is that we're talking about him. Daddy's trying to fix it. Everyone's talking to him. He just doesn't want to fix it.
He don't care.
I know, and it makes me sad because there's a baby involved now. And I wish that he would realize what his daughter is now missing.
The fact that he's okay with me not even knowing my niece. What world?
Now, Danielle and her mom. Honey, now listen. I am really sorry about what's going on with Danielle and her brother. I truly do feel as if Danielle is not telling the full story. And I'm not saying that she owes us the full story. But the fact that we found out that her brother has had a child, and this child has not met Danielle or her mother, and that he is not communicating with any of them, there has to be a little more that they are not telling us. This can't just be over her silly Instagram and him making fun of her Instagram and her blocking him. It's got to be a lot more information. If you're going to bring it to the show and use it as a storyline, we should have a little, backstory on what's going on here. He's not speaking to any of them. I think that they're devastated because the father is the only one he talks to. Danielle has this bougie kid clothing line. Maybe she should pack up a whole lot of outfits for her new niece or nephew, along with a card and a note for him and his wife. Send it off to them as an olive branch. Maybe at some point they'll be willing to open up lines of communication. Pick up the phone, call your brother, text your brother, email him. Show up at his house. Try to make it work. This is just another family falling apart, and you guys aren't telling us the full story, so we don't know what it is, but something this serious cannot just be over Instagram. Then we see Jennifer. It turns out that Jennifer's brother is back in America with his new wife and baby, and Jennifer has gotten him and his wife a very nice apartment in a very nice building. She says that she doesn't want to see him struggle the way her and Bill struggled. She said when Bill was a resident, Bill's parents took care of them financially until they could get on their feet. And to me, she's just paying it forward to her brother, and I really appreciate that. She talked to her brother about her relationship with Bill and how she feels that she's doing all of the load when it comes to raising those kids. Listen, I have said this before and I'll say it again. To me, Bill is checked out. To me, Bill is biding his time, waiting until the last kid goes off to college, and then I think that he's going to divorce her. To me, the fact that Bill is coming home and going directly to the pool house, to me, he's pretty much living in that pool house. That is his home, and he is separating himself from her and those kids for the most part. I think that Bill is just completely checked out. I think that she has every right to feel the way she feels, but he said no, he's not going to therapy, and I think that she should continue to go to therapy by herself and see what happens. But Bill is checked out in my opinion, and I think he is ready to go. Adoption storyline. Now listen, I'm going to put a link in the description box for an article that was done with the birth mother, and she said that she knows that this was done for storyline purposes. She also says that they kept her away from her son. She hasn't seen him personally since 2017 when John Fuda allegedly stopped her visitations. Also, she said that she never received any paperwork regarding this adoption. She has never signed off on an adoption. She does not want her son to be adopted. She also says that, there's three sides to every story. Her side, their side, and what really happened, and that she absolutely loves her son and wanted to be a part of his life, and that they took him away from her and his little brother because she has another child, and that this is all for show. Also, there was an announcement I think I seen online that the adoption has gone through because they allegedly couldn't find her, but she's been in jail this whole time, and they, according to her, knows that she's in jail. So she has no idea where they sent these adoption papers. However, she says that when she gets out of the halfway house, she is going to get an attorney and she is going to fight for her son. I do feel that Rachel did this for TV. She has been in this little boy's life for over 10 years. Why wait until he's almost an adult to adopt him? That's just my opinion. I don't think that adoption should be used for a storyline.
I want to see them come together.
They need to make up, or they need to just break up.
She's always trying to confront me. I heard all this about you. I heard that. I was like, you know what? You're a little bit of a douche.
So you're telling all of your friends that there's a snake in the group because the snake is repeating everything that you said?
Margaret is the problem.
Party's projecting his own bullshit on you. Your brother is like devilishly calculated by everything he does. And is actually thinking about how to hurt you. It's disgusting. I would like to talk to your brother as much as I want to talk to a rat in the street.
I've never heard Louie talk like this before.
I've shown your brother nothing but sincerity, love. I handed over to him verbally saying, you are the patriarch of this family, not me. Maybe he feels threatened. Let me try to annihilate the fact that he may feel threatened. Maybe feel this, maybe feel that. The problem lies between his ears. If we have to go down that road, you're not gonna recognize me.
All right.
I'm done, man. It's scary what can we happen tonight, you know? While he is gaslighting you, while he is manipulating you. I don't even want your brother coming to our wedding.
So the whole comments that Marge was making, the whole douche and all this other stuff that they were saying, I'm just not built for a girl group like this. You know what I mean? A girlfriend group like this. Me and all of my friends, we've known each other since elementary, middle, and high school. There's a couple extra girls that sprinkled in after we grew to hell up. Anyway, the type of women that we are, every now and again, there's a little something. You know, everybody's got to have a little razzle dazzle from time to time. But we always handle it with respect. Now, yes, every now and again, the voices get raised and, you know, there might be a little neck rolling. You know what I mean? We might have a little bit of that, okay? But in the end, we try to keep it cute. We talk about the situation. If we have done something, we own up to our part and we apologize for it. In the end, we either try to figure out a way that we can squash it and move on, or we just say, you know what, we're going to agree to disagree and move forward. We keep it going. But one thing we don't do is sit around talking shit about each other to each other. One thing is for sure, there was this one incident where one of my friends was really bad mouthing one of my other friends, and I said, freeze. What we're not going to do is you're not going to sit here and talk shit about her, because I sure would not sit with her and let her talk shit about you. We're not doing that. If you're upset with her, fine, but let's find something else to talk about, because we're not doing that. And I think that these ladies are missing that. And one of the reasons I think these ladies are missing that is because they're not real friends. These women are not real friends. They're just co-workers. They are collecting a check and they are trying to be famous. So it's okay for them to throw each other under the bus, to embarrass the hell out of each other down in a public restaurant. It's fine. They don't care. But I do. And that's how I know that this is not real. Real friends don't act like this. All right, so Louie acting a fool. Lord. First, I would like to say that Teresa was gorgeous in this scene. She was fresh-faced and looking just like her daughters. I said, wow, I don't know if I've ever seen Teresa without makeup before. Her face was beautiful. I hated seeing the tears in her eyes. I really did. I really don't like to see Teresa upset. All right, so people are outraged by Louie's behavior. Now, do I think that Louie is suspect? Absolutely. Do I think that Louie is doing way too damn much? Absolutely. But I don't think Louie is doing any more than Tiny Hawk Joe. We have seen Joe on this show for 10 seasons act an entire ass. Somebody even put together a little collage of photos of Joe acting a fool. We have seen Joe talk mad shit to Louie, step into this man's face, get extremely aggressive. So I get it. I understand that Louie is upset. I understand that. Tiny Joe would piss me off too and almost bring me to violence. I do not like Joe, male chauvinist Gorga, period. Did anybody notice that when Teresa pulled out her phone, the picture that she has saved as Melissa's contact is this photo? Honey, listen, this was the Melissa before she was on display. Listen, we have seen Joe Gorga have a problem with Louie, Teresa, and Juicy Joe. And we have seen Teresa have problems with Joe and the other Joe multiple times. This is nothing new, but people are tired of it. So I can understand Louie is tired of it as well. You could kind of tell that Teresa was a little uncomfortable with Louie's behavior. I was too. I think that Louie was having a bit of a fit because he is fed up. He has been going through a lot this whole time. Joe has been, gaslighting the hell out of Louie, been all over social media talking mad crap about Louie. They've had a lot going on in this relationship. But Teresa made some kind of comment that the only time her and Joe Giudice would fight was when Joe Gorga was getting involved or something. And I do have to say that that's a lie. You and Juicy Joe fought regularly, and a lot of that didn't have anything to do with Joe or Melissa. And I'll never forget when he called you a bitch of a wife, and he also called you a see you next Tuesday. That didn't have anything to do with Joe and Melissa. So we can't really blame Joe and Melissa for you and Juicy Joe's, issues. I think that Louie did a little too much. I think he said too much, but I do think that he ate Joe Gorga's ass up, and I appreciate it because I'm not a fan of Joe Gorga, and I don't have to be. But Louie does scare me in a way, because to me it seems that he wants to separate Teresa from her family. And I think that the mask sort of came off, because at first he was doing the whole kumbaya yoga, let's bring the family together. But now at this point, he's more, I'm sick of this shit, I'm done with it, and I don't want you around them anymore. I want to cut ties. I'm through with you, being family with them. And that I do not like. That I do not like. It seems to me that he is, ready to separate them totally. All I know is Teresa and Louie are saying that they invited Melissa to the wedding rehearsal dinner, to the brunch the next day, and Melissa texted her back saying they only made themselves available for the wedding. They didn't make themselves available for the rehearsal dinner or the brunch after, and that pissed Louie and Teresa off. But my thing is this. Most people, when you have a rehearsal dinner, it's only for the bridal party and maybe the parents. Also, when you have the brunch afterwards, that sometimes includes the family, but most times it's still the bridal party. So maybe Melissa didn't make herself available for those things because she's not in the bridal party. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. What I can say is this has been one hell of a long wedding special for Teresa and Louie, and I'm sick of it. I can't wait for this wedding to be over. I can't wait for this season to be over. And it's being told to me that this whole big blow up and fight next episode over Danielle telling Melissa about the alleged rumor, Teresa and Louie have come out stating that they had already talked to Joe and Melissa about this rumor off camera, and Teresa promised that she would not bring it onto the show, and Teresa did not bring it onto the show. It was Jennifer Aiden who brought it onto the show. So they should really not be holding it against Teresa, because she told them about it off camera before filming started, and she told them that she would not talk about it, and she didn't. Jennifer Aiden is the one who talked about it, and Jennifer said multiple times on the show that she didn't want Danielle to tell Teresa that she talked about it. So this is Jennifer Aiden's problem, not Teresa's. Anyway, you guys, get down in the comments and let me know what you think, and until next time, bye.